Welcome. Time to find out. Can you beat Skyrim with only destruction? Yes, I know this video took a long time to make, and I'm sorry about that. For the rules of the challenge, I can only use the destruction skill to do damage. I will use other spells to heal myself or to level up though. I'll show you what that means later. For now though, it's time to pick my character. I went with a high elf. I thought about dark elf, but I considered high elf would be better because they have an ability to let them regenerate magic. As then, I watched the executioner fail to kill me like always, as Alduin saves me. As then, I had to run in. I decided to follow the Stormcloaks once. I thought it'd be funny to side with them because, well, I am a high elf. And they hate the Thalmor, so, you know. And for once, I'm actually allowed to fight back during the tutorial. I do almost die from one hit though, because this is legendary, so yeah, not too fun. However, I am able to hide back and let Olaf do most of the battling for me, as I just stayed back and watched most of the time. As I even found a nice robe. This robe only recovers 50 magicka, so it will be kind of useless after a short while, but it's useful for the tutorial, which is all that matters, as I stand back like the party's mage and simply blast my magic as they fight. Yeah, right now I can't really do much unless there's a trap like that, because my magicka isn't very high. It runs out pretty quickly, so I may have half enemies in the trap. You see, in Skyrim, there's something called a dumb AI, which means if you jump on a rock, and half the time they can't get you. So for the power of jumping on a rock and through electricity, I was able to kill a bear. That's very nice, as I left and made sure survival mode was on. Now it was time to go forwards. I didn't expect this challenge to be too difficult, just tedious. Tedious as in leveling up destruction takes a very long time. I also stole some money from the hidden chest, which you all know about the hidden chest in whiterun, so there's no point in bringing it up. As then I went in and used it to buy some spells. As then I rode my horse with me and began to shock it to gain destruction points. Now you might just ask why I don't just use the storm spell. It doesn't work for me. I made sure it was updated 5 times, but no matter what I did, I just couldn't get it to spawn. By the way, I decided to join the Empire. Yes, I followed the Stormcloaks just to deceive you. There's lots of Stormcloak tears in the comments. As then I used my destruction power to wipe out some bandits. As to join the Empire, I need to clear out this bandit camp. And yeah, it was not easy because I could not take a lot of damage, and they could. Luckily for me though, the AI was dumb, so all I had to do was lure it away and use my destruction on them. And it was pretty tedious, but using the power of destruction and hide it on rocks, I was able to kill them. I mean, just look, they're just staring at me as I shoot them. Kind of not that bright there. After taking down some bandits, I then made sure that the setting was on legendary, as it was. As then I pushed forward to wipe more of them out. And yeah, I died quite a bit here. The ones on the outside weren't too difficult. Once you're inside and crammed in, things get more difficult, as you're forced to try to move around in a tight space, which oftentimes gets me killed. But through pure strength and determination, and also cheesing the AI mostly, I'll be honest, I was able to clear a lot of them out after many deaths. Basically, I would just do damage to them, then leave through the front door, and for whatever reason, they wouldn't come out. The bandit chief did give me a lot of trouble. He killed me a lot, but eventually, through hit and run tactics, I was able to defeat them all. Now it's time to take care of the people that are left in the fort that I forgot about. One of them gets stuck on a pillar, so, you know, that's kind of easy. No matter how hard the difficulty is, it'll never defeat the stupidity of the AI. Lesson learned, kids. Write that down. As then I clear out the fort, I then go back to General Tullius, and he tells me good job, and now I can join the Legion. As it was time for us to get a crown. You see, Ulfric's trying to get this crown that will make his claim to High King more legitimate, so we're going to have to stop him. But to do that, we have to go into an old ruin that's surrounded by Stormcloak soldiers. So I stay behind and let my Imperial soldiers do most of the work as I shock, flame, and use frostbite on them. I mostly use shock and flames because, well, Nords are resistant to cold, so are undead. So really, frostbite and cold spells aren't really used too much in this challenge. But they do get some use every once in a while. As me and the Empire make it through, eventually we make it to the final boss, who starts to run away for his life. I didn't know undead feared death. I mean, they're already dead, so kind of weird. For that, we went to Whiterun as I decided to start the main story. I had to complete a little bit of it just so I can continue the Civil War quest line, so we're going to have to go into a dungeon to find the Dragon Stone. As the way there, some bandits try to stop me, so I have to burn them alive. As the bandits do put up somewhat of a fight, but I'm able to run away pretty easily, so I just run and use tactics like hit and run tactics to wipe them out. As then I continue to push forward, eventually I make it to a giant spider. My spells don't do a lot of damage yet, but luckily for me, there's this little door that the spider can't get through, so I'm able just to hide behind here and use my flame magic to destroy it. I'm using flames because, well, it's the cheapest and it's a frost spider, so I just assume that flames do the most damage to it, and I didn't even look it up, so I might be totally wrong, but it says frost in the name, so I'm pretty sure I'm right. Vol the Swift, probably butchered that name, don't care, had an accident where he fell down, so I took the golden claw off him, as now it was time for me to fight some Draugr. I know for a fact, though, that Draugr are 20% weaker to fire, so I used my flame bolts to burn them alive. With that 20% weakness, though, I am still on legendary, so yeah, this is very far from easy. It'll probably be easier if I leveled up a bit, but I'm an idiot who didn't. I tried to lure this guy into a trap, but apparently frost does beat fire because he murders me effortlessly. Second time around, though, I'm able to lure him into a trap, so I go over to his body and do the only appropriate thing I can think of. Yeah, take that! As then I get my frustration out on the Draugr, I then continue onward. I am even able to export the AI. Shocker, I know. As then I deal with the final Draugr. As I get closer and closer to the boss battle, I even find a nice bed to rest. Very, very nice. As then I meet the Draugr Overlord, as I'm able to just run around and attack him. If you're a range fighter, it's not that hard. If you're trying this with melee, good luck. But yeah, since I'm able just to run around and shoot fire bolts at him, eventually I am able to wear him down and finally kill him. With him dead, I then bring the Dragon Stone back to Whiterun and get my reward, as now it's time to continue onward with the Civil War quest. But before I can do that, I have to kill a dragon. No big deal. However, this will spawn dragons into my game. As a dragon comes to attack Whiterun, I run up on the tower and simply snipe it from far away. Being a magic sniper is actually kind of fun. More fun than being a real archer, honestly. As then I'm able to kill the dragon, I go back to Whiterun and tell them, and then they confirm that I am of Dragonborn. As finally, I can continue the Civil War quest line. So I go back to General Tullius and then go back to Whiterun, as Ulfric is planning to attack Whiterun. So to make sure that he's super serial, I go to Ulfric and ask for an axe. If he gives the axe to the Jarl of Whiterun, he will confirm that he's going to attack. And he confirms that he's super serial. So then I meet up back at Whiterun, prepare the forces, and get ready to fight. I try to defend the gate. Kind of dumb for me to defend it with fire because the gate's made out of wood, so yeah. As I just run around and shoot at it. And since I am low leveled, I go down pretty easily, so I basically have to use my soldiers as meat shields and hope that I don't die, because I didn't invest anything into stealth. Because, well, magic makes a lot of noise, and I have to get a lot into illusion to, make stealth, and at that point, I feel like it's not even a destruction run. As I'm able to just, hide behind my guards and fire at them away, one by one by one. Basically, I am a stealth archer without the stealth and without the archery, just fire. As they charge at me, I am able to kill them pretty easily, except when I die when I get grouped together like that. But eventually, I am able to win and make the Stormcloaks go away packing. Very nice, very, very, very nice. As then I meet up with the legate. She tells me about a Stormcloak carrier carrying intentional data. So I kill the carrier, take their data, and sabotage it. As then I bring it over to their leader, and he tells me good job and gives me a drink of beer, not knowing that I just lied straight to his face. As after that, it's time for everyone's favorite part about the Civil War quest line. I mean, it's tedious, but honestly, it's not that bad. It's not as bad as people say, at least. Taking out some forts, as I'm able to kill a couple Stormcloaks and run inside and heal. My destruction's actually doing more damage now, but I am still able to die with only a few hits, so I have to rely on high places to do damage. After that, I blackmail y'all and find out where they're keeping a shipment of gold, as me and the Empire jumps them. I mean, technically that is highway robbery, but is it really a robbery if it's for the government? I even unlocked a ruin spell. Quite nice. Very, very, very nice. As I'm able to simply kill them, I then go to another quest line where I have to take out a fort. This is a little bit more difficult as I am pinned in with lots of stormcloaks coming at me, but overall it's not that bad as I'm able to destroy them. As I change back and forth between lightning and flames, not really knowing which one to use, I usually use flames just because it's cheaper though, not gonna lie. As then I go to another fort as it's time to free some Empire soldiers so they can go out and fight with me to clear out the fort. As me and the prisoners leave, I end up using my spells on them, which, not gonna lie, I really hate the ruin spells because, well, you have to get them to walk up into it and it costs a lot of magic, which is obviously the point, but a lot of times I'll miss or I'll hit it right below their feet and it just won't count for some reason. So yeah, not my favorite. Eventually though, we do make it to the capital city where we have to battle Ulfric himself. As Ulfric tries to put up a fight, but I'd simply just hide behind my meat shield, that is what I call General Tallius and the Legate, and I'm able to destroy them with frost ruins and flames. As then, we kill Ulfric and win the Civil War for the Empire! After that though, I decide I will join because the College of Winterhold, well, if you complete their quest line, they give you very powerful magic items that allow you to recover magic way easier. And I have to buy their spells anyway, so I might as well join. As I buy some destruction spells and join the college, I then start their quest line and I immediately get trapped in a dungeon. Not very nice. And then some weird ghost speaks to me. I'm not even on mushrooms yet, so that's weird. About something about an orb or something, I don't really know. As then I had to fight Draugr, but my flame spells do nothing to them. I thought since they're weak to flame, this would be easy, but nope, they walk through it like it's nothing. My fireballs are merely like splinters to them, so I have to rely heavily on my teacher, as I am basically his Robin at this point. As we get separated, I am forced to hide behind an egg where they can't get me, and simply spam fireball until they die. As then I make it where I have to run around the room. For whatever reason, their AI makes it so they walk up these stairs in a very slow way. So I have to run up and down these stairs until I can weaken them down with enough flame magic where I can finally kill them. Yeah, this took me way longer than I'd like to admit, as I am able to finally kill them with my fireballs. It's hard because, of course, they have really strong regeneration, and it seems like they'll just be able to regenerate forever. But I decide to use my special ability to regenerate magic faster, which is eventually able to fix the problem, as it takes me many tries because of their regeneration. But eventually, I am able to get a critical hit and back to the college to learn about the orb, as we need to find information about it. As I have to go up and get some books to learn about it, to get my knowledge. As for me to learn about it, I need to go to this place where the books are. And this place is guarded by super powerful apprentice sorcerers. Because of course, why wouldn't it be guarded by that? Because apparently someone from the college stealing the books got caught by these guys, so they have the books. I also managed to glitch one of them into a door somehow. I don't know how that's possible. And yeah, this is not that easy, as they have regeneration and do a lot of damage. I am forced to rely on hit and run tactics just to make it by, as eventually I find the person they captured and agree to free him if he becomes my meat shield, as I simply use him to take up damage and do damage from afar. That doesn't really work out too well for him though, because with my frost ruins and fire spells, he eventually dies. As I die a lot. Yay, this is so much fun. I love legendary difficulty. I'm forced to run away and rely on ruins and high powerful spells just to hope to kill them. And it does work, but it takes a long time. Eventually I make it to the final boss, and she effortlessly kills me because of her regeneration powers. So I need some magic resistance. Remember I said I'll use other spells to level up? I decided to level up my alteration by casting the light spell onto a mountain. I wasn't going to use any of the spells itself, I just needed the Atronac perk, which allows me to absorb 30% of magic attacks. And with that, I was able to win. Yeah, Skyrim is so much fun. Yay! As then I go back to the College of Winterhold to learn more about the orb. As I read the books, I then get talked by the Citric Order, and they tell me to find this strange orb, a different orb, in the college. So I go through a secret trapdoor and begin to explore the college's underground, which are guarded by skeletons and Draugr and all kinds of strong enemies. Because, well, why wouldn't there be enemies underneath the college that we haven't found? That just makes total sense. As then I talk to this blue orb that almost gives me a seizure. He tells me more about the orb, saying we need a staff to control it. As then it's time for me to go off and find where that staff is. To do that, however, I need to find the people who are involved in that staff. So it's off to find them in a dwarven ruin. Luckily for me, electricity is good against robots. The cool thing about destruction is each spell element frost, fire, or lightning. But this spell is both. This is an elemental spell, which combines sparks and fire, and it does a lot of damage, making fire damage and shock damage. And the elemental blast and burst are probably the best spells out there, because the master spells take a long time to charge up. These are way faster and way more useful in my opinion. The elemental burst spells are my favorite. But that being said, they're not perfect, and you could still die while using them. As example, I had to play Ring Around a Rosie with a robot just to destroy it. Make it to Patrick's, whatever the hell his name is. And he tells me that I have to make a map so I can find the staff. So I complete this puzzle, not hard at all. And then I find a map of Skyrim, and it tells me where to find the staff at. As now it's off to find the staff, so I can control the orb. As then the Citric Order congratulates me and then leaves. As then I go back to the college to tell them about the news, and the whole college is being kept under control by the orb, and it's controlled by a Thalmor spy who infiltrated the college. And the Thalmor spy is the only other high elf, so not that hard to find out. As then I had to fight through these things, which are basically just frost wraiths. Luckily for me though, even though the wraiths can fly, they can't get to me up here for whatever reason. At least that's what I thought until one did, and it scared the crap out of me. But for some reason, they weren't really key on killing me. They were more focused on the NPCs and townsfolk alike. So hey, I'm not complaining. I did die a few times though. But I was able to make it through, and I killed a dragon on the way, a skeleton dragon. Then I read an ancient book as ghosts watch me. There's a lot of ghosts in this quest for some reason. As then I'm forced to fight my way through more enemies to try to make it to the staff. Most of the time though, the enemies are way higher level than me, so I use a troll. I lock a troll up and have him fight my enemies for me. I guess you can call this troll warfare. A lot of enemies, this one can almost one-shot me, so I am forced to, jump up and down and jump all around and try to strike it while running around. Eventually though, this does pay off, as I destroy it with my favorite spell I mentioned earlier, Elemental Burst. As the staff has a special ability. Once you run out of magic, you will start to lose health. But I have a lot of magic, so I'm able just to simply run away and regenerate it quickly, and I'm easily able to destroy it. And I get a mask that regenerates 100% magicka. It's called magicka, but I call it magic a lot because, well, it is literally magic. So if you have a problem with that in the comments, I don't care. As then I kill a guy who tried to kill me, the spy, and then I make it back, and now it's time for the final battle. As I forget I need to close the orb to actually do damage to him. Yeah, not my smartest idea. I then try to lure him out, which actually works, as I get a bunch of townsfolk to actually go after him. Now, get a bunch of people to chase him, run back in, so they're all fighting him, but because of the orb, he can't really die. But I am able to use the staff to close the orb, and with the orb closed, he can't get regenerated anymore, so the townsfolk and wizards, they have a field day with him and easily destroy him. Was that cheap? Yes. Do I regret it? No. As then I become the Archmage and get my outfit to give me 100 magicka regen along with the mask. So I have 200 magicka regen. And I also have a perk in restoration to give me 25. So I am very good right now. As then I travel to the mountain to meet the Greybeards to progress with the main story. My plan is to progress until I'm about to fight Alduin, so then I'll get 100 destruction to use master destruction spells against him. Before I can do any of that though, I have to learn some shouts. And since the game literally makes me do it, I'm not going to say it's against the rules. And I'm not really doing any damage with it too, so it's all good. As after that, I'm forced to go and get the Horn of Windcaller, so I am forced to fight some mages and some other things in a dungeon. And some spiders. As I make my way through, I eventually learn that the horn was already stolen, so I go to meet with everyone's least favorite character, Dolphine, and she tells me that she's secretly a part of the Blades, an organization that's almost dead, and their whole purpose was to hunt down dragons. As I had to kill a dragon to prove that I was the Dragonborn, which wasn't too difficult because Elemental Burst is a really good spell, so I was able to wipe it out. Then I went to a Thalmor party, and since I'm a high elf, it's actually quite fitting for once. As then I made a drunk make a scene so I can get in undetectively. As I snuck my way through the party, well, I would say sneak, but I decided to murder everyone I found. As I made my way through, I eventually found a book talking about how Esben is still alive and hiding in the Ratway tunnels. As then I meet with a prisoner, and he talks about leaving. And I am actually saved Malborn for once, so that's cool. I usually don't get to save him. As then, I make it to Dolphine, and she tells me about Esben as I go to try to find him in the Ratway tunnels. The Thalmor and some drifters do try to stop me, but I'm able to make my way past them. And I almost get fisted by someone. Haha, funny joke, they have fist in their name. Let's move on. As then I fight some Thalmor soldiers. They try to attack me with these conjured weapons, but I'm able just to easily take care of them. And by easily, I mean I run away and use my magic against them. You think high elves would have a resistance to magic, considering they use it a lot, but apparently not. As then I talk to Esben, and I bring him back to... After bringing him back to Dolphine, I talk with Esben as he tells me about this ancient temple that might have a way to defeat Alduin. As then I go to the temple and use the Dragonborn's blood to activate the prophecy. As then we learn a valuable truth, that the only way to beat Alduin is with a jout called Dragonrin, that should make dragons land on the floor. As then I have to go back to the Greybeards and complete my training so they'll help me. As I stand there, as they all yell at me. As then I talk to the Greybeards, and at first they refuse, but after Parthenax puts his word in, they are forced to help me. As then I use a shout to pardon the sky and go to meet Parthenax. As I talk to Parthenax, he tells me to go to the College of Winterhold, so I do, and they told me to find some crazy guy, and the crazy guy tells me to go into this dwarven ruin to find the Elder Scroll. Man, this is a lot of back and forth. The enemies here are quite challenging. The dwarven spears do put up a fight, and they can kill me easily. But luckily, my spells do a lot of damage, so I'm basically a glass cannon that has to run away and do more damage before I die. I also managed to use the Become Eternal shout, the best shout in the game by the way, to go down some stairs. I do die a few times, but overall, it's not too difficult, and I'm able to make it to the center and get the scroll. As then I collect destruction books to level up my destruction skill, because even though I've been using it throughout the whole game, it's only 62, because destruction is the slowest skill to level up in this entire game. As then, because I can't get the storm spell to work that levels it up instantly, also it's survival, so I guess I couldn't do it anyway, I decided to go into the secret chest over and over again. You see, until you get to level 90 in a skill, you can just pay to keep leveling up. So that was my plan, as I spammed the secret chest exploit over and over and over again until I went back and paid to level up my destruction skill. And anytime I needed to level up, I would spam the muffled skill to level up my illusion, just so I can get a higher level so I can pay for it in destruction. It takes a very, 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 very long time, and eventually when I reach level 90, I am forced to torture a horse, just so I can level up. It takes me a long time. Like, this took me literally 2 days to do all of this. This is why this video is so long. But eventually, I make it to level 100 in destruction, and I'm able to do a quest to get the level 100 destruction spells. Because they just don't sell it to you, because no, that would be too easy. Instead, you have to put this book on a pillar, and it tells you to cast powerful spells into the pillar until it teaches you a fire spell, and then you can buy the rest of the spells. Why does it work like that? How does that make any sense? I mean, I don't know, but hey, it's the game, so I don't question it. I go to pillar and pillar and pillar, using different spells on it. After that, I finally learned all the Master Destruction spells, so now I can use it against Alduin. Honestly, they take so long to charge up, and if you get hit while you're doing it, you're kind of screwed, so I still prefer the Elemental Blast, but they still come in handy against big enemies like dragons and Alduin, to be specific. As I have a cutscene, I learned the shout, so now I can finally use the Dragon Wren shout on Alduin. As I hide behind rocks and use it as cover from his fire, I also use the Master Lightning spell. I mean, look at this. It's so cool. Like I said before, the drawbacks are really bad, but it's just so cool. Look at that. Just pure lightning, just standing there, shocking him. I feel like Palpatine, honestly. You know, in the Revenge of the Sith, with Palpatine uses the lightning, that's who I feel like when I use it. I also am able to use the Firestorm spell, which is pretty cool too. But it takes so long to charge up and you have to be so close, it basically means infinite death to the time if you try to use it. But I am able to kill Alduin without dying a single time. I'm just kidding. I definitely died. A lot. But I'm just going to show you one because I have a fragile ego and I don't want this video to be too long. As then, I go to Whiterun, and the Jarl agrees to help me capture a dragon after I learn the shout from the blades. I mean, I only learned it from the blades because to the temple is easier than going up that damn bloody mountain. As then, I trap a dragon, and he agrees to fly me away, as it's time to go into the afterlife, Higher Rothgard. But to do that, I had to go through a portal, and to do that, I had to get through Dragger and dragons that are guarding it, so yeah, this will be fun. As I use my elemental burst through most of the run, just destroying these Draugr like they're nothing. They do put up somewhat of a fight, but when I'm able to run, all you need is elemental burst and a lot of space, and I just completely whoop ass. I mean, look at this. Yeah, that's what you get. I have the power, He-Man. I don't know why I said that. Anyway, I used the elemental burst spell just to clear my way through. I would have used the master spells, but they take too long to charge up, and in close quarters like that, I'm basically done for. It would get the high ground or I'm far away, like with this test. As I pass the test to talk to the other Dragonborns. I mean, it's not like Alduin's trying to destroy everything, and if I don't succeed, we'll all die. Just make me pass a hard test. Yeah, that's cool. Anyway, I'm able to use the shout Clear Sky, as then, me and the other Dragonborns that have died long ago defeat Alduin, as I use my Lightning Storm spell on him to absolutely destroy him. It is annoying because anytime I get hit by a fallen rock, it interrupts the spell, but I am eventually able to kill him. And I want to thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. The next video will be the Oblivion one, I promise. The only reason I didn't do it was because I was already halfway through this challenge run, I didn't want to give it up. Hope you all have a good day. Peace out. Love you all, and hope you have an amazing day. And don't forget to check out my other videos. I do Fallout runs, Skyrim runs, and pretty soon I'll do Oblivion runs. I'm also thinking about doing other runs. If you want a game for me to check out, just let me know in the comments down below.